It's a school rumor you heard as a kid that turned out to be true years later. Everyone said our cafeteria lady, Mrs. Morales, was secretly rich, like millionaire rich. We joke about why she'd work serving soggy pizza and mystery meat if she had serious money. The rumor started because nothing about her added up. She drove this beat-up 1995 Honda Civic with rust spots and a cracked windshield, but kids noticed she always wore designer shoes. Louboutins, Jimmy Choos, stuff that cost more than most teachers made in a month. Her purse was always Gucci or Prada, but when kids asked about it, she'd act confused, like she didn't know what brands they were. "Oh, this old thing? Found it at Goodwill," she'd say with a straight face. Plus, she knew everything about everyone. Which parents were getting divorced, who couldn't afford lunch, whose dad just lost his job. She had this supernatural ability to sense when kids were struggling. She'd quietly slide extra food to hungry students and pretend it was just leftovers going bad. I always thought she was just really nosy and incredibly lucky at thrift shopping. Everything changed senior year when my family completely fell apart. Dad lost his construction job when the company went under. Mom was dealing with chronic illness and couldn't work, and we were basically living paycheck to paycheck. Some days I'd eat saltine crackers for lunch because that's all we had at home. Mrs. Morales noticed immediately. She started accidentally making too much food every day. Extra sandwiches, leftover soup, cookies that were about to expire. She'd package it up and hand it to me with a wink, always making sure no other kids saw so I wouldn't feel embarrassed. One December afternoon, she pulled me aside after lunch. "College applications are due soon, mijo. You applying anywhere?" When I told her we couldn't afford application fees, let alone tuition, she just nodded sadly and squeezed my shoulder. 2 weeks later, I got the most shocking phone call of my life. A lawyer said an anonymous donor had established a full scholarship in my name. 4 years of tuition, room, board, books, everything covered at my dream school. I immediately suspected it was Mrs. Morales, but when I tried to thank her, she acted genuinely confused. "That's wonderful, sweetheart. Must be someone who believes in you." But I caught her smiling when she thought I wasn't looking. Throughout college, mysterious checks would appear whenever I needed them. Laptop broke, fixed overnight, couldn't afford textbooks, they'd show up on my doorstep. I'd call Mrs. Morales to tell her about my good luck, and she'd always say, "God works in mysterious ways." After graduation, I moved across the country for work, but sent her Christmas cards every year. She'd write back in her shaky handwriting, asking about my job, my girlfriend, my life. Always signed, "Love, your cafeteria mom." Last month, I got devastating news. Mrs. Morales had passed away peacefully in her sleep at age 78. I flew back for her funeral, expecting a small service. Instead, I walked into a packed church, hundreds of former students, all looking as confused as I felt about why so many people were there. That's when her lawyer stood up and read her will. Turns out Mrs. Morales had inherited over $8 million when her wealthy husband died 20 years earlier. She could have lived anywhere, done anything, but she chose to keep working in our school cafeteria because she genuinely loved taking care of kids. The lawyer then read a list of students she'd secretly put through college over the past 2 decades. 47 names total. Mine was the very first one on that list. Through tears, he explained that she'd been quietly paying for everything. Tuition, living expenses, emergency funds, for dozens of kids whose families couldn't afford higher education. She made the lawyer promise to keep it secret until after she died because she never wanted gratitude or recognition. She just wanted to make sure no kids' dreams died because of money. I still have her last Christmas card. It says, "So proud of the man you've become. Love, your cafeteria mom." Now I know why her shoes were always so expensive. When you're secretly changing hundreds of lives, you might as well walk in style.